Okay, so in this evaluation exercise, it's white's turn to move. And use your evaluation skill and see if you can figure out who has a better position here. Pause the video to think about it. Okay, so let me just quickly show you again how to figure out the material difference here. We see we have a queen for a queen, a rook for a rook, a bishop for a bishop, and then we have a knight for a rook, but white has 6 pawns and black has 4 pawns. So that means white has a knight plus 2 pawns for the rook, which is 5 points for 5 points. So in terms of points value, the material is equal in this position. Okay, white does have a small advantage here, mainly due to his nice center control advantage. Particularly this pawn and bishop is very strong here in the center, making this this rook and queen not nearly as dangerous as they could have been if white didn't have this control in the center. And then also the white king seems to be a bit safer than the black king here. So with that in mind, given the fact that we've got a small advantage and that we've got a little bit of pressure against black's king, what would you do in this position if I suggest the move rook takes f6 or knight takes h5, knight to h5? Which move do you think is better? Pause the position and think a bit about it. Okay, so let's look at this move first. After queen takes rook, we've pretty much exchanged off all the pressure, and suddenly we don't have much pressure against the black king at all. So that's why I wouldn't suggest rook takes rook as the best move in this position. The idea behind knight to h5 is that black can't capture us because of this checkmate. So what we achieve with the move rook to h5 is we keep more pieces on the board. Now I've seen when you are the attacking player, in other words when your position is more aggressive and your opponent is trying to defend, then you must try to find moves that keep the pieces on the board for as long as possible. Because the longer the pieces are on the board and the more pressure you can add on your opponent, the better the chances are that you can find a possible tactic. But in order to find the tactics, you need pieces on the board. So by exchanging all the remaining pieces, you are actually just exchanging off the pressure. And I believe from this course you would have noticed that I focus a lot on the fact that you must try to add pressure on your opponent and not exchange all the pressure down again. Okay, so that's the end of this exercise. Let's look at the last one. Okay, black's turn to move here. What do you think? Who has a better position? Pause the video to think about it. Okay, now black has an advantage in this position for 2 reasons. The first reason is in terms of king safety, the black king is safer than the white king. See, the white king is exposed. We can easily attack and check him. The second reason why black has an advantage in this position is because he's going to win a pawn on the next move by playing either queen takes f2 check or bishop takes f2. Now that said, which move do you think is actually better, taking with the bishop or taking with the queen? Pause the video to think a bit about it. Let's look at the move queen takes f2 first, because after queen takes f2 and bishop takes f2, okay, we're a pawn ahead, but maybe after rook f1, is it clear how we're going to win this? It's not all that clear. We're just a pawn ahead, but we don't have any other advantages in this position, so it becomes very difficult because we don't have any pressure against white's king anymore. The other move again, bishop takes f2, also wins a pawn, but it keeps the pressure up. If there's one thing you can learn from this course, I'll be happy if you learned that it's better to keep up the pressure than to exchange down the pressure. Of course, if you're the attacking side. If you're the defending side again, you want to exchange the pressure. But I hope you're going to be on the attacking side most of the times. Okay, so in this position now, black definitely has a good advantage because he's a pawn ahead and he's got pressure against the unsafe white king. And so with that, we conclude the 10-day chess course. I hope you learned a lot from it and I hope you enjoyed it. There's just a few things I want to say. First of all, I want to remind you that this course focused on the two most important thinking methods, your evaluation thinking method and your calculation thinking method. There are a number of other important things also in chess that I didn't talk about in this course because I didn't want to confuse you and I wanted to focus on what is most important, these two thinking processes. Now, I didn't talk about things like weak squares or typical middle game plans or other things like that that are important also, but they are beyond the extent of this course. In this course, I wanted to help you understand how important it is to have these two thinking processes in place. Reason being, once you start thinking with these two thinking processes in place, then everything else also starts to make a lot more sense. It becomes easier to add more theory, and a lot of things that people will say about certain positions will make a lot more sense to you because you will see how it fits into your evaluation thinking method. Okay, so that said, I want to congratulate you once again for completing the 10-day course. If you enjoyed it, please share my site with your friends. Help to support me that way. And if you want to send me some feedback, I'll also appreciate that. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what was good, what wasn't good. I'd like to improve it if I can. The link to that is at the bottom of the page. Alright, thanks. I'll see you again. Cheers.